This mini series is going to be called My Principles. I think I've mentioned before that I do have a big database of principles. It is quite significant. Let me just go to my principles to take a look. I have 576 individually written principles, linking it to my personal values. So values are a little like a smaller macro set of values. And then I've got different principles that goes into more details of what each of these values mean or represent. And then I also categorize them, manual category. I think I need to update these categories quite a bit. And I also link it to different kind of personal stories that enhance or showcase these principles. As I mentioned before, I'm a very weird person. I just document a lot. But that's not the point. The point is I think I never had the chance to explain these principles in detail. I just mentioned what that usually quote or line is about, how it if it is linked to any of these bigger macro values, and if there are any stories that represent or showcase how these principles are being shown or being explored. And so in this series, I want to go into details of and just talk about what is this specific principle every time, and what it means to me, how I showcase it, so that when I link it to certain values or categories or personal stories, or in the future, if I'm going to link it to other databases, it just makes sense. The good thing as well is that every day, again, I'm very weird, but I like my weird systems. Every day, when I go into my almost like my homepage, I have a few databases, and one of the databases to show my quote of the day or principle of the day. And so it makes it easy to just make a video every single time or just explain it every time. I've got 576 to go through, and I've already retired some of the principles. So once in a while, I will go through my principles and see if it continues to work for me or it doesn't. If it doesn't work for me, then I removed it. So 576 are principles that still work for me. This is also a very good process for me to just understand who I am, why I become me, what is going on behind the scenes of my life. And do I still want these principles? Are they still aligned to the me today that is explaining these principles? So it's a very good way to audit or review my life as a bit more on a frequent basis. Then instead of once every 3 to 5 years, I do a big chunk review to review my principles. Whatever it is, it's just the way I think, and it really doesn't matter. I don't have to explain this. So today I want to share my first principle. The first principle that I'll be sharing. It is 10 years from now, I'll say that I choose this life and not settled for it. Number one, the life that I have today is 100% the life that I have chosen. I deliberately make every single decision on a day-to-day basis in small incremental terms to come to this phase. And this is a life that I have chosen. I'm not leaving it. I love this life. Which goes back to this whole eulogy thing. I think for the last 10 years, majority of my life, I have been choosing to live a certain life. And for the last 10 years, I've worked extremely, extremely hard to come to this phase. And so today, looking back 10 years ago, I would say that, yes, this is the life I want, and I did not settle for it. I actively chose this life. Everything I want is what I have. And, a couple of weeks ago, or for the last one-ish year, I have been thinking about what the next 10 years would be. So I'm just going to just looking ahead 10 years from now, I want to say that that life that I'm living in 10 years time is what I've chosen and not what I've settled for. That is this goes into the bigger topic of this is a dilemma that I've been facing for some time, but I'm settled now, by the way. For the last one-ish year, I didn't know what kind of life I want in 10 years time. I kind of still want this life, but maybe in a different form. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what to I don't know how I want to imagine that life. So good to say that I have figured it out, and it's almost like the current life but elevated. Because the life now is it's pretty good. And so that's the point is not, just oh, I choose this life that I want to live in 10 years' time. The point is because I have the end goal in mind, the end goal of 10 years' time, what are the little decisions I have to make? What are the easy to not do, easy to do, but if compounded, will make a big directional difference in my life. And that is the key thing. The key thing about this principle is not what I want my life to be or how I choose my life in the next in 10 years time, but what am I going to do on a day-to-day basis in micro little actions to make sure that I'm moving in the right direction, compounded day by day, so that in 10 years time I can get the output I'm looking for. Very simple. And so this is a reminder. It's not just fluffy thing of, oh, it's all about progress and I want to improve in 10 years time. But the key thing to improvement, to progress, to being who you want to be is that small little decision you make every day. It's easy to not do it, easy to do it. And it's easy to not wear something. It's easy to just wear something shitty and just leave the house. It's also easy to just dress up because it takes additional 3 minutes because you need to figure out what you want to wear. But compounded over time, day by day, 10 years, that's a huge, huge compound interest. And so, yes, the principle is 10 years from now, I'll say that I choose my life and not settle for it. I figure out what that life is now, and every day I'm making the right progress towards it, which is also where the accountability comes in. So, it's principle of today. Bye.